Dimineața. This is Paul with Paul and Tammy from Backpacking and Brews. This is day 28 on our trek across Romania on the Via Transilvanica. It's about 8:30 in the morning, a brisk 30-something degrees. Supposed to get up to 51 today, so that's the warm weather or cold weather gear. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and we are leaving the village of Malancrav, small village, and headed toward Riches, R-I-C-H-I-S. That's how it's spelled. The normal stage ends in Bierten, B-I-E-R-T-E-N, I believe it's spelled. But that's only a 9 to 10 mile trek, so we're continuing on past the normal ending point and going to Riches, staying in a place called Annie's Guest House, which was in the guidebook. Not sure if it was on booking.com. I don't think so, in the guidebook. But that's our plan for today. It's about anywhere from 15, 16 miles. See how it goes. Clear weather. 0% chance of precipitation today, so we're happy about that. We stayed at a place called, I forget the name exact, but it was like PGL Bucatelli Gastronomic, something like that. So kind of like a restaurant. It looked like they only had one, well, it's like a double room. The shower was outside the room. It wasn't closed in, but it was clean. It was nice, hot water. And it got warm enough for us. And I think we were the only ones using it, so that was kind of nice. Anyway, that's the day for today. This is just above Malancrav, the village of Malancrav, and this is listed in Google Maps as a fortified Lutheran church. It looks like it's not open for business or use by the locals or even for any tourists or anything like that. There was a shortcut through the property of it, but it was closed off, so we couldn't do it. We had to walk around. But anyway, another fortified church within Romania. Pretty cool looking. It looks like they are trying to maintain it, but I'm sure it's always a lot of work. But very, very cool. So I mentioned how Malancrav has a fortified Lutheran church, but our host at where we stayed last night spoke, I think, more German than she did Romanian, and not a lot of English. So I thought it was kind of odd that the Lutheran church in town and I think we're in the Saxon region, would have thought Lutheran church would have been operational. But, you know, who knows what the circumstances are to say why it's not. It could be money thing, not enough parishioners, who knows. But seems like a not dichotomy, I don't know how you phrase it, but anyway, thought that was interesting. Also, the place where we stayed, it was reserved it through booking.com. And when I initially made the reservation, I screwed up our math because we stayed an extra day in Sighișoara. So I had us booked for a room the day before, along with 2 other places. So I had to fix all that before we left Sighișoara and try to get confirmation of the change dates. And these folks were willing to do that. They said no problem. So it was about $40-some for the double room and $310 lei for dinner, which included a hearty soup and some pork cabbage rolls. Really good, homemade of course. And dessert, a cake. And then breakfast this morning, which was a couple of hard-boiled eggs, some homemade or home prepared salami, homemade cheese, toast, four different kinds of jam and or sort of toppings, butter, and coffee of course. So well worth the 310 lei, and we thought very good value for a really small village. Just thought it was worth noting. So this morning when we filled up our water containers, we brought the empties into the kitchen with us where we ate breakfast, and we noticed our host was basically filled up a pitcher of water for us from a water jug, not from the faucet. And when we were in Sazic, the host there said, "Oh, don't drink the water in Romania," even though we already had been. And he said, "Oh yeah, you don't want to drink the water. It's got a lot of chlorine in it." So maybe it was a flavor thing. But so this is sort of the second instance where we've seen where even the locals aren't drinking the water out of the spigots. So not sure why. I mean, the coffee she prepared was made with the bottled water, etc. So I don't know. We've got mixed feelings about that. But almost every 100% house that's an older home has its own well right out front, with a chain crank and a bucket. So pretty interesting how they don't drink the water, but then they have these wells all over the place. So not sure what the real story is there, but we're okay now, knock on wood. Just wanted to mention, so the place that we stayed, booking.com calls it PGL in Bucătăria Mamei, M-A-M-E-I. Anyway, so yesterday we arrived about 2:40, and the house is same as all the other houses. It's a masonry structure, and the room we were in was solid masonry walls, and the heat was not on. It had a big radiator next to the window, and it was, of course, like an ice box, like the other places we've been in, because the temperatures are so cool. And we asked, as soon as we asked, once we got sort of settled in our room, "Hey, when is the heat coming on in the radiators?" And she went right outside, gathered some firewood, and presumably brought it in the house and fired up the radiator heating. So really very accommodating for us, weak Americans who can't stand the cold rooms. But and fired up the radiator real quick, and it was plenty warm through the entire night. The radiator didn't come on in the morning. Again, it's probably on a schedule of some kind. So it was a little cooler in the morning, but not uncomfortable. So we just passed kilometer stone 594, and this is what our trail is looking like right now. It looks like a farm road, and the dirt is nice and soft. It's not wet or muddy, so we are happy. And it looks like crops. I think these are some kind of farm food, livestock food. Clover maybe, kind of looks like clover. But yeah, they really looks like they do a good job of trying to take advantage of the grounds so that they can plant crops. But pretty view. Have the place to ourselves again. Okay, so I said we had the place to ourselves. Not entirely true. We still share this area with the cuckoo bird. And of course, it stopped cuckooing. And for those bird fans out there, we're also sharing the valley with the common buzzard, aka American hawk, and the common wood pigeon, which neither of which are making noise at this moment. Looks like there's some old oaks in this neck of the woods too. Here's one. There's another over there. Another over there. One over there. And then, sorry, pan all the way over to where we're headed. And a big old oak right there too. So yeah, we are amongst the elders. Okay, just walking through the first village on our path to Bierten and then on to Riches. Very familiar look to the buildings and the residences. Big gates, high walls, and then they have their own little private area. Once you go inside, you never know what that's going to look like. But this town seems to be in very good shape. The gentleman we just spoke to was painting his wall nice color yellow and made a point to speak to us in German. Guten Morgen. So walking through this village short of Bierten, it's the one on the other side. We noticed that, oh wow, another fortified church over here. But quite a few of these homes have gas hookups. You can see the yellow line coming from the ground and going into the house, which is not like what we've seen before, because most of them use wood to heat their homes and the water within their houses. But yeah, we're seeing quite a few gas hookups. Now whether they haven't turned on or not, I don't know. But previously we've even heard from other folks who've said, oh no, gas is too expensive, wood is much cheaper. But I guess it depends on where you live and how much access you have to wood for firewood, etc. Well, it's a little after noon. We passed kilometer stone 606 and we are overlooking the village of Bierten. Really neat looking town. Looks like it's got a fortified church right in the center of it. Beautiful, beautiful architecture. And we are not stopping here. We are continuing on to Riches, R-I-C-H-I-S, which is just down the valley, the far valley, about 6 kilometers. So we'll see if we decide to go up the hill and then follow the trail or just ride the road down to Riches. But yeah, neat little town of Bierten. Alrighty, we're just getting ready to descend down into Bierten. Yeah, just incredible. The fortified church. 1, 2, 3 towers, one with a clock on it. Just pretty incredible. I think we were saying when they were built, we think most of these were built right around the 15th or 16th century. Incredible. And the last person we talked to said there were likely tunnels from the fortified church to different houses. Pretty cool. Oh boy, sigh. Well, we were walking from Bierten to Riches, and it's right about lunchtime, so we were looking for a place to eat. Actually, we stopped by a bistro in Bierten, but their food selections were mostly all fried stuff, so we weren't too interested in the. There were a bunch of tourists there from a bus, and they were kind of hogging all the seats in the cafe or the bistro, so we couldn't. There was no place for us to sit down anyway. So we didn't stop there for lunch. So there was a restaurant that was referenced, a big sign in the middle of the Bierten that said, hey, 1,000 meters down the road, there's this restaurant. Serves food. Google Maps said it was open. Well, was not open. It's closed for renovations. So we had walked a kilometer out of town toward Riches, which was our final destination anyway. And so it wasn't out of our way or anything, but it was closed. So while that was going on, we, because we couldn't eat there, I messaged the place where we were staying tonight, Annie's guest house, and asked if they could serve lunch. We'd be arriving in about an hour. Could we get something to eat when we get there? And, and also get the dinner and the breakfast tomorrow morning. And they responded and said, sorry, we can't do lunch. And there's another issue. We have no water. Our water supply was cut off. We're like, what? No water? So no water, no showers, no hot water? No. So we kind of went back and forth via the messaging system on booking.com. I tried contacting via WhatsApp, but her number that's in booking.com was not in WhatsApp. So anyway, went back and forth. Unfortunately, it was in English, so easy enough for me to communicate. And we ended up canceling that reservation. Booking.com was kind of nice. I did a free cancellation request, and since we were talking, she approved the free cancellation, and we are no longer staying at Annie's guest house tonight in Riches. So we are walking back to Bierten. We already booked the place in Bierten for tonight. 55 euros for 2 twin beds in one of the hotels real close to the fortified church. So we're going back to Bierten. We kind of hoping we were going to get past Bierten because it was only a 9 to 10 mile walk from Malancrav, but no, we are not going to Riches today. And we just did, instead of 10 miles, we just did at least another 11, 12 miles. It's whatever. But so yeah, things happen. Apparently in Riches, Annie's guest house, she said that, I presume it was a she, said that the water's been off for 3 days. Now, one would have thought that she might have notified us to say, hey, our water's not working. You need to find a new place to stay. But obviously, it was supposed to be back on after a day. It wasn't. I'm sure she's thinking every day, hey, the water's going to be back. The water's going to be back, right? And it wasn't. So anyway, we're walking back to Bierten and looking forward to having a beer in Bierten.